Hello, everyone. Welcome to Surefire Live. I'm Mark Stoner. Thank you for joining me tonight. I had a little fun trip I just went on last week. Went to Yellowstone with some of my family and friends. We rode motorcycles out through Yellowstone and Glacier and did a lot of fun stuff. So I love riding motorcycles. I am going to say the one bad thing that it was absolutely epic trip, but unfortunately, a group of motorcyclists in front of us, one of the guys wrecked and he did not make it. And so that was a pretty sad event. They were doing life support on him, and I went ahead and to the next stop, and they called a life flight and stuff, but it didn't, it was bad. And it helped me understand again, everybody says you do things that are risky and it could end up being that way. And those of us who like risk understand that. And so, but it also made me realize that, you don't know, when things are going to happen for you. So don't live sheltered, live the best you can, live to the fullest you can. And, then whatever happens. You did all you could to live the best life. And I didn't mean to start Surefire Live that way, but it just came out because of what we just saw. But anyway, great trip, and with friends and family. If you've never been to Yellowstone, highly recommend it. Obviously everybody's heard of it, but just to see it in its grandness and so unique. You travel throughout the park and it's very different in different parts of it. And then Glacier, we did a road called Road to the Sun, and it was one of the most beautiful roads I've ever been on anywhere. And so can't recommend it enough. Tonight, I wanted to talk about an app that I've used for years called Connecteam. And Chad Murray actually told me about it years ago, showed me a demo of it. I did a demo with Connecteam after he showed it to me, and their demo didn't really do it for me. They mostly talked about some things that weren't interesting to me. But when I watched Chad, what he had done with it for his company, then it made sense how I could use it. And we've talked about it a few times. But recently, Bethany Gill, who works with Rush Profits, and she's an expert at this. And so I'm having her work with my company and go through what I know as a business owner and plus that up and make it a lot better. And I believe that, when we go through these demos tonight, if you're not using it, you can see how it could help your company. And secondly, if you are using it, probably there's a better way to use it. As we know, most apps, we probably as business owners maybe get 20% out of the app that we have access to, because we just start doing, we get it going, then we start doing something else. So with that, tonight is a live conversation. I can see some people starting to join. Please ask questions during in the chat, and we can see them and help make the show more interactive. So with that, let me bring on Bethany and Alan. Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
What's going on, buddy?
Hey man, how are you?
You know what today is?
What is it?
You're a chocolatier. Do you know what today is?
Is it International Chocolate Day?
It's International Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. And guess where I'm staying right now?
Where?
Where do you always get chocolate chip cookies whenever you go? The DoubleTree.
Oh, DoubleTree?
Yeah, it is. It's insane. They keep bringing them. They just keep dropping them off, and I'm like, oh, these are 310 calories a piece, man. But yeah, I'm at the DoubleTree on Chocolate Chip Cookie Day. I mean, that's a big thing.
That is awesome. We're having a little bit of microphone issue with when we have an echo when all three of us are on. So unfortunately, I'm having to mute Bethany while we're talking, and then we'll bring her on. So it'll be a little bit jaded, but thank you for joining us on National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day, Alan. Let's talk to Bethany. Bethany, if you don't mind, introduce yourself. Tell everybody kind of what you do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, my name's Bethany. I own 218 Admin Solutions. So I offer fractional operations management and implementation services for small businesses, entrepreneurs, mainly in the service industry, chimney, HVAC, plumbing, anything like that. I work with a couple of other more white collar industries, I guess, like financial advising and some insurance, but mainly in the blue collar service based industry world.
Tell us how you got involved and why why you get involved with Connecteam and how you used it in your past job, and then how you think it can help the chimney people.
Yeah, so before I started my company, I worked in the security industry for almost 10 years. Obviously, another service based business, a lot different of a field service operation than chimneys, but field service nonetheless. And so my company that I worked for was a pretty early adopter of Connecteam. We had a really techie guy that worked for us, and he was like, "Hey, there's this new app out of Israel. Let's start it." And my boss was like, "Sure." And so we had Connecteam back in 2019, I think, and I believe it started up in 2016. So pretty early. I've used it for a long time, and it is basically a employee management hub. So anything that you need for your employees, it has three main hubs. So the operation hub, the communications hub, and the HR hub. So you can use it for scheduling, time clocks, any HR functions, documentation management, onboarding, um, communications, chat, internal, lots and lots of features. And it's primarily, they target it towards what they call deskless employees. So anybody, any type of field companies, it's really good for, because it allows you to be in remote locations and be able to manage your team from whoever's house they may be at, or whatever location they have to clock in from.
So with that, can you one talk about how you used? I think you had like 300 employees that use this in your other place, and then also the tie-in with Rush Profits and Alan. I don't know if you want to jump in and talk about kind of this new arm for you guys and what you guys are doing there. Let me get you off mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, so when I worked at the security company, I had a team of about 15 managers, and then anywhere, it fluctuated depending on the season, but anywhere from 150 to 300 employees that were in the field. I never saw them unless they had to come to the office to, you know, get in trouble or something like that. But other than that, they were clocking in remotely, doing any form that they needed to do remotely, whether that was an incident report or a end of shift report that we needed them to do. And Connecteam was just really efficient in basically being able to completely manage my employees without ever physically seeing them. And I know a lot of the chimney industry, you guys are going to see them more than that, but it does have that ability where you're not having to, touch the people every day to be able to take care of them and manage them.
I noticed that I just had a typo when I put that in. So it's obviously Bethany at rushprofits.com, not .mcom. So I'll change that. But Alan, talk to us about what you've seen companies using this and kind of this new direction for you guys.
Yeah, well, I think most people know, but Bethany's my awesome daughter. Everybody knows I've got two grandkids that she's the mother of. And so, she worked this, she's being very humble. She worked as a COO of a very large company and managed 300 people, doing all their payroll, doing all their scheduling, doing pretty much every SOP, every admin task that you can imagine. And so, with Connecteam, she was able to make that a lot more manageable, especially on maternity leave and things like that, where she had less time. So I think she learned really quickly how to do more with less through technology. And it's like you always want the best for your kids, but like she has such a feel for just people in the HR side. And so in my business, as you know, I'm mainly on sales training and doing a little bit of process and systems, but the accountability side, the reporting side, the L10 meeting side, the SOP side, all those kind of things were things that we didn't really serve or have the time to serve. And so we brought Bethany on to do that. She currently works with at least 4, maybe 5 of my our chimney clients right now, and she just started working with you. So everything from, again, running your weekly meetings to doing your payroll to doing your HR. She's more of like, everybody's heard of fractional CFOs and things like that. She's more fractional operations, right? The operations manager. And so with Connecteam, I realized really quick that she had this uncanny skill to be able to look at systems and see where they were broke. And so and put together like legitimate solutions that help that company. And so I know I introduced her to you. I'm sure she'll talk about it. You guys can talk about what the analysis she did for your company and what she's working on with you. But anytime you can
Late
take
night
someone who,
analysis.
yeah. Well,
I didn't.
Mark's very punctual when you ask him for things or you text him.
Yeah,
He's usually right back with you, like
right there.
usually within minutes or
Yeah,
days, weeks later, maybe even the day before it's due. Um,
yeah.
but um, but yeah, I know. So it's an exciting thing for Rush Profits, and Bethany. To be clear, Bethany has her own company. We just brought her on to do kind of fractional services for us, for our clients that need these services. And so yeah, couldn't be more excited to see what she's doing in the industry. And I think maybe diving into what you were doing with Connecteam, I think would be very helpful. And then kind of the flaws not flaws, but opportunities that she saw that you were not capitalizing on
I
the
don't
money that
have
you
any
were spending.
flaws.
I know you don't.
All
I
opportunities. Yeah.
immediately corrected myself. I don't even know what I was thinking. But yeah, and then just putting together a plan, as with any software, as you said before, you can. It's all great and good. It sounds great, but when it comes down to implementation, accountability, and actually making sure that we're maximizing the capability of our systems, very few people have the time to do that, and that's what Bethany's great at.
Yeah. Well, fantastic. So Bethany, I'm going to unmute you. I'm going to bring up Connecteam and I'm going to share my screen. But again, I'll probably have to drive while you kind of talk me through it. But I'll talk about what I know, and then we'll go into that. We'll try that method. So let me bring up my screen real quick. Share. So the here we go, Launchpad. All right, so this is the pad. So I'm going to unmute you. We're going to have some echoing, but basically here is the main page. And let me just go into general. No, I need to get
You're
out
right.
of this.
You gotta hit close at the top. There
Yeah.
you go.
So this is basically the first page that it is, but let's just go through this left side, and I'm going to mute myself, and then you tell me what you want me to do on this, so we have a clean
Okay.
audio on this. So I'm going to mute, and you go from here.
Okay, perfect. Are you scrolled all the way to the top of that left bar? Like the menu? Maybe you are. Okay, I think maybe communications is okay. There you go. So at the very top there, you have just your basic info. So you have users, smart groups, automations is a new feature that they rolled out, just like everybody else, integrating AI and kind of automating some of the follow-up processes that they have in there. And then job list, which I don't think you guys use that very much because most of your actual job scheduling is done on Service Titan. But users is obviously where you're going to manage your employees, have all their basic information, so like their start date, their team that they're on. Mark obviously has multiple locations, so he has his people and they're categorized by location. And one of the main projects that I'm doing for Mark right now, after doing an audit for him, is building out his smart group. So that's a feature that he has not been utilizing. And what smart groups is going to do is really make tagging people into the features a lot more efficient. So when I did Mark's audit, he was going through and manually every time he needed to add a tech, like a new tech to the tech chat that they were using, Mark would go in and automatically add that person into that chat. And that's just not efficient for then Mark has to remember, okay, I just hired this person. Is he in the chat? Does he have access to the forms he needs and that kind of thing. And when you make these smart groups, what that is going to do is you create the group and then you assign the features to that group. And so once you hire somebody, all you have to do is tag that person as a Nashville tech, and he's going to have access automatically to everything that the Nashville techs have access to. So that is a feature that's going to really make a lot of what he was doing a lot more efficient. And it's also going to clean it up for his other employees. So by keeping everybody with access to just what they need, it's going to make it more user friendly. It's going to make its people be more engaged with things because, as you know, when you get 8 million notifications, then you have no notifications because you just start tuning them out and aren't looking at them. So as long as if you're making sure that people only have access to what they need, it's going to make sure they're actually looking at those things. So that's the smart group feature. Like I said, really, really an important feature and one that is underutilized. It is a little tricky to set up, which is why people don't utilize it as much. You have to go in and make a lot of specifications, but once you get it done and built out, it's super useful.
Yeah, I definitely struggled with that part. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. That's okay. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah. So, yeah, do you want to move on down to chat? I mean, a lot of people have chat. A lot of people have some of these things. It's just a lot of times you don't have it all together.
Yep. So then that header right there is communication. So anything, like I said, Connecteam has the 3 hubs: communication, operations, and HR. So those are going to be your communications features. Chat is obviously a big one. I know a lot of people, operate by text or phone call or Telegram or whatever other messaging app that you have. This is going to streamline it all. It's going to put it in Connecteam. You can message people directly. You can message people by group, where if you want interactivity between multiple people talking, you can do it in a group, or you can just do what's called I think they call it a channel. They may have renamed it, but a channel where if you are the owner or a manager and you just want to be able to send out things and not have people respond to them, you can do that as well. So those are the couple of options there. And one of the reasons why it's so beneficial to have the chat in Connecteam and not use one of these other outside apps is that if you want to link something that you have in Connecteam, so you say, hey guys, I need everybody to do this form, or I need everybody to upload their driver's license, or whatever it is, you can link that directly in Connecteam into the chat. And so all they have to do is click right there and it takes them right to it. So that way you're not having to, send a text message, say, get on Connecteam, do this, go here, click this. They can click on it and go right to what they need to do.
You also have, one place that all the information is there. It's saved there. It stays with the employee. So if you're ever telling somebody something, it's not lost in text.
Yeah.
I was showing how on my list, I had a employee meeting the other day where we rolled out our benefits for the year. And so in this case, we distributed the PDF to everybody before the meeting, before the benefits meeting. So it's always on the app, and we can put it in other places too. But, they can download this right there onto their phone. It also stays here, and it is instantly distributed to everybody. This is different chats, like this is all team user chat, but then I have it broken up to individual. This is where Susan was working with Bethany for, this project, and you can easily split things up, but save things and also change the chat. If somebody's drops from the chat, you don't lose the whole chat. So I really like that feature of it.
And the fact that it's searchable, I think, because how many times a year later a new employee is asking the same question that someone asked a year ago, right? We see that all the time in the forums and things like that. So one of the first things that you can do if you need to find information is to go and search and see if somebody's already asked that, right? So and then go and get your answer that you need.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So chat's pretty clear, but I think it really gets exciting when you get down into all the other things that it does. So we'll go from there.
Yeah, so updates is another feature that was being underutilized that I think we're gonna hopefully get streamlined a little bit. But updates is really good because it chat is good, but a lot of times, like I said, if you get a lot of people in there talking and you know everybody's responding to everybody, people may tune that out. Every once in a while, updates is really good if you need to send out important information or something that you need to make sure everybody sees. If you have There's a couple of different levels to Connecteam, a couple of different tiers that you can have. And I'm not sure, I think it may be the advanced version, but if you have the advanced version of the communication hub, you can send out an update. You can send out an update from any tier, but if you have the advanced version, you can send out an update and it will do a push notification to your employees and it will pop up when they open up their app so that they can't go into the app or do anything else without acknowledging that they've seen the update. So if it's something, mandatory meeting, you guys have to be here, it pops up, they can't move on until they acknowledge, yes, I've seen this, or whatever the case may be, whatever you need them to acknowledge. But on any tier, you can send out those updates and it'll still show on their feed. And that's just a good way. It kind of looks Facebooky from like the user view. They have like a feed of, updates that have been sent out or new forms that have been published or whatever activities going on the app. And the update will put it front and center for them. Right now, Mark, as you can see, is using it for a lot of birthdays and congratulations things, which we're going to move to the correct spot of recognitions. But it works for that too as well. If you need to tell somebody happy birthday on the fly.
I like telling people, I like doing the celebrations and the acknowledgement and the reward section. That's my favorite part. Marcus Williams says, Bethany is legit. She's a storehouse of knowledge, seems to know a lot about a lot. That's a very nice compliment for you. Oh, hold on. It got you muted. Yeah, go ahead.
Marcus is actually one of my clients outside the chimney business. He owns a kayak rental company here outside of Nashville. So he got a Facebook invite. So I appreciate that, Marcus.
Very cool. Yeah, so that's the updates. Let's go on to the directory. Is there anything else on updates?
No. Well, I don't know.
Let me just show you how you can add a new one. This might be helpful. What I do like about them is anything, if you want to learn anything, they've made it very easy to do. So let me just show, like, add new. You can use one of their templates that they already have. And here's some standard stuff, like, whatever your these standard templates would be. Like, here's a
happy hour. Pick that one. Alan likes that one.
Let's get the happy hour. Boom. And so we're having a happy hour today. And then you can say, select this template, and you can say, this is the background. And then you can send this out to the whole team immediately. And next, and then who wants it? This is where smart groups are very helpful. Or I could have specific users. We don't want everybody in the happy hour, only the select few. And then you can send it out to the whole group. I need to not send this out. So this is a live, this is discard. So anyway, but yeah, that's kind of a cool feature on almost everything, has this add new part, and then you can create a lot of the stuff, especially when we get into forms and courses and knowledge base, all these things that it can do makes it pretty easy for you to create it.
Yeah, one thing I'm not sure if I mentioned, but Connecteam is really good about kind of creating, like, I guess you would say, an audit trail, or so if you have, like, you see right here, your congratulations, Ray, you can see it has comments, likes, and then 51 views. On most Connecteam features, you have the ability to go in and see who saw it. And so, if you send out something that is a mandatory meeting or like important for you guys to start doing X, Y, or Z, and your employee is like, I didn't know about that, I didn't see that, I never read that, you obviously have the backup to say, okay, well, right here it says you looked at this at this time, so obviously you did see it. And they're really
That,
good about that on most of their features.
that never happens to me. I just have to say everything one time, and it's the law. Just
Yes,
one
of
time, and
course.
they immediately do it and never forget it. So,
Yes, everything works out for Mark Stoner
yeah. So,
perfectly.
perfect. Okay, so that is updates. Let's see, let me get back up here. So then directory or forms.
Yeah, directory is pretty basic. It's just gonna have the phone numbers, emails of everybody in your company, whatever. If they don't want their email viewable, it'll just have their phone number or both. And then you also have work contacts up there, which is going to be where you guys can add outside contacts. So Connecteam's automatically going to load in all the users that are in the company, and then work contacts is where you guys could go in and put you could re-put in everybody in your company like Mark, or you can add like your distributors, your suppliers, your roofing
So wrong.
guy, the roofing guy, or the, I don't know, whatever other subcontractors you guys use. Um, Anybody that your employees call you and say, hey, can you send me the number for so and so, or can you give me our account number for whatever our ordering something. You can add those into work contacts. You can put name. It allows you to put a little more information in the work contacts than it does in just the basic directory. So you can add their name, their email, their phone number, and then you can add like a notes box if, like, when you call your distributor for something, you have to have like an account number, or there's a specific person you need to talk to. You can add that information in work contacts so your employees are not constantly calling you asking you for name, number, information.
Nice. Okay.
Forms is a big one. So Connecteam has a lot of different fields that you can add to the forms. So, and Mark, you may want to talk about this a little bit about like forms that you guys use in your day-to-day operations, but
Yeah.
just the ones that I like can think of off the top of my head, like vehicle inspection forms, or like warehouse opening or closing warehouse. Obviously, one thing that I know a lot of people are going to have questions about, we can get around to, is kind of how this complements Service Titan rather than, or Service Titan or House Call Pro or Jobber or whatever everybody uses, and how it complements it instead of working against it. Because I know everybody's going to have some things that are built out in those systems already. But maybe if you want to talk about some things that you use Connecteam for versus those,
Yeah.
you may be a little better version.
Oh, sorry. Hit the button.
You're okay.
Yeah, so I'll talk about that. I use this quite a bit. So on the, as you can see, I'll show you how it works. I didn't create all these forms: employee termination checklist, vehicle accident report, disciplinary form, expense report. All these things are pre-made. Vacation request form obviously is the main one that our team uses, but I did make a handful. So if I hit add new, and then I can go in here to use a template or start from scratch. I use a lot of templates to start with. So the ones I created were fabrication, direct deposit information, tool request form, service cancellations. But then you can use what they've already built out. So let's just say it's an incident report, or let's just go to the accident report. That's one that a lot of people run into. In this case, oh, I hate when it does this. Do you know how to get out of the zoomed in when it zooms in like this? Oh, I get you muted. Hold on. Bethany, do you know how to get me out of the zoomed in?
Is it doing that within Connecteam, or is that
No, it's something I touch on my Apple and it zooms in and I can't get it out. I'll tell you what, I'm going to close it out and because it zooms in so much, I don't know how to do it.
I have never had that problem actually, so I don't know.
Hang on one second. We're gonna do this live. Connecteam, and we're gonna start over. Log in. All right, so we'll go. Yeah, so forms. All right, so let me share my screen again, and we will. This is the most quiet I've ever heard Alan be. It's amazing.
Well, you do have him muted, I think.
He muted himself. All right,
Hey,
so
this is not my moment.
on forms again, back to the templates. Make sure you can see this okay. Yeah. All right. So on the templates, again, the vehicle inspection form, let me find it. Our vehicle. And so let's see, right. Accident reports. So you can see what it looks like in their app. And it's already done. Driver's full name, time of incident. You can do a geolocation, contact number, all the things that you would need your technician to get if he's in an accident. And then you just select this template and fill it out. I'm going to mute you again here, Bethany. And so on this, you again, there's so many things pre-built that I use, but then I can go to this and start from scratch and build out my own template. I can add fields. I can very simply add whatever I need, upload fields, or build this out for my company in any way. So I like this forms part. As you can see, media release, if you're doing, social media, you have the guys sign off on things. If you've issued things to them, tools, checklists, application. In this case over here, we've got, if you've got an employee harassment complaint, I like that I have 0. That's cool. And nobody's looking at it, so I like that even better. But expense reports, personal information updates, just very easy to use forms for your company. I'll unmute you if you want to talk about that now.
Yeah, like you said, there are a ton pre-built in there, and I think I haven't started a Connecteam from scratch in a while, but I think whenever you first sign up, it'll ask you like what industry you're in, and probably customize a few of the pre-built things, features to your industry. But if you're doing it from scratch, if you want to go back to that real quick, you kind of touched on some of the different fields. But one of my other clients, we use this a lot for like his leadership and office people's daily checklist. So they have like requirements to put in there of, people they called, or did they do a daily deposit and complete the deposit for the day. And if their sales leader reviewed the other guys' jobs and make sure their jobs were staged and things like that. And so they've now added it into the forms where you can add tasks in the forms. And so you can kind of combine those into things that they need to fill out, as well as tasks that they can go through and complete on the form. Right there. And so that will just pop up like a little checkbox as they're going through and completing their end of day form, or whatever you want to call it, and sign off that they did something. And that is going to streamline that for management a lot. If you want to know, did my yes, exactly. Did my sales leader, review the guy's jobs that are scheduled for tomorrow, or did he make sure everything's staged? Instead of, having to call him up and say, did you check on this? Did you do this? You can just go and view those forms. And all of the forms have like what I call a back end to them, where you can do, if you click on, I don't know, just whichever one you want to click on, Mark, and like one of your forms that's already built, and then go to the top right where it says settings. So this is kind of the back end of the form. And so if you go over to sharing, this is where you can set up every time a form gets completed, who does it get shared with. So it's going to automatically, you can do it as an email, or you can do it within the app. Every time this employee completes this form, it's going to automatically send to Mark, so that Mark knows this got done today. Or, whatever other manager or multiple people that you want it sent to, you can auto share those forms with them, so that they're getting those updates for them. And then if you go to manager fields, these I set up a lot for kind of the accountability piece. So if you do like status and a drop down for that, a lot of those I will set up as, those are the auto ones that Connecteam has in there, working on it and done. But I set them usually to like complete, and then I do like in progress, and then I usually do a red that's like urgent follow-up is needed, so that it, as a manager, as somebody on leadership, you can go through and review those forms and mark it green if everything's done, everything's good, nobody needs to look at this form again. But if they do and something's wrong, the manager can go in and mark that this needs follow-up, and it can get escalated to the correct people. And if you scroll all the way to the right, like obviously this one just has one entry showing right now, but if you go all the way over, so there's your status right there. If you had a status selected on this, and you have, right now it's just showing July, which luckily you only had one incident report in the last month. But if you were looking at a form that had a lot of entries, this is a really easy way to just scroll down through like the status and see, okay, I have 4 red things that need urgent follow-up on, and to be able to go through them, you can just skip over the green ones. You
Oh, is that
We had a
thank you for that?
we had a boo boo on his finger.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh,
but the truth is, for OSHA, we have to report all these incidents. We have to show whenever they do an audit on us, not just major ones, even minor ones for OSHA. So this just helps us.
your workers' comp's about to go through the roof. So
There's a
I
little
have a
boo
question.
boo. Yeah.
I don't know the answer to this. I have a question. Like, Bethany, are you using this in replace of some of the L10 softwares to, like, when you're talking about rocks and parking lots and issues, are you using Connecteam and tasks and assignments to kind of replace some of the other softwares that people may be paying for, or is this more in conjunction with?
Yeah, so tasks is a really big feature that I've been using with people on here. So if you want to, we can jump down to that one real quick, Mark. It's, some of these are not, there it is, up. It's orange right there, yep. So tasks, you can create tasks, if we're talking about rocks and assign it to your L10 people, and then assign it for the quarter or whatever that you want to have this task, big or small, completed within the quarter. And then you can break that down into the smaller pieces of the task, either as individual tasks or on this one big task. If you if you go back to the top, Mark, you see it subtasks right there. Oh, sorry. Open that back up. And then subtasks. So you can break that down into smaller pieces, and put, the individual parts of the task here that have to be completed before you can complete out the whole task. And like I said, you can, if you go back to just regular task details, you can name the task, put as much of a description as you want in there. You can even attach, like if you guys have, built out the rock somewhere else, you can attach the document to it or whatever. And then assign to is where you can assign it to one or all. And then once, if you assign it to multiple people, you can assign it as a group task or as an individual task. So it'll either assign whatever task you create to each 5 people that you've clicked on, or it'll assign it as a group task scope so that it knows, you guys are working on it together. And once it's completed for one, it's completed for all. Really good for recurring tasks. Also, it'll auto populate them and just keep sending the task if somebody has like a weekly task to do or a monthly task. But I think this feature is the most helpful for when you're talking about using it in conjunction with L10 meetings and follow-ups and things like that.
Looks like Mark's using it pretty well.
Yeah. Actually, I think Jonah is the only person that has used it so far, but also we're getting there.
We're going to start using it. We realize how valuable this is, and that's why we hired Bethany to help us with all these things. But we are going to start using tasks, especially for just what we're good at. Is when you call us, we're good at answering the phone, coming out, doing the job the first time. But when there's 2 and 3 and 4 contacts back about what happened here, why did this, part was broken, like, 3 or 4 or 5 levels down of communication. Sometimes we need something different. It just doesn't go in easily to, Service Titan, or you've emailed, or you've, sent 5 texts to the person and something didn't happen. So in this case, tasks are very, like you said, level 10 will be a great place for those, but also just daily tasks that people need to do to make sure they get done. We use this probably more on the chocolate side, and we're going to use it more but in the chimneys, we're going to use it. We like it. We just don't use it that much yet. Oh, let me get you.
Yeah, so that's an overview of tasks. Like I said, you can send reminders easily from here if you realize somebody hasn't, and you don't even have to send the reminders. You can, but Connecteam also sends reminders like, hey, this task is coming up. Hey, this task is due today. This task was due 3 days ago. So it definitely has no shortage of telling you did not get things done that you were supposed to get done.
Yeah.
Let's see. Some of the other like big features on here that I think are very useful: courses. I don't know how everybody has those built out right now, but Connecteam does have this course feature where you can, Alan, ignore the sales process one that Mark hasn't nobody assigned to and nobody has completed or looked at.
We have a whole
Don't.
separate company called Surefire that we kind of have that all built in right now. So
Exactly.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, but anything, not Surefire related that you need your people to walk through, benefits information, or anything that they need to step through, watch a video on, or complete questions or anything like that about, you can build those out in Connecteam. Benefits is a good one that Mark does have built out in here. But yes, I'm not trying to, steal
it looks
business from
it looks
Surefire to
updated.
Connecteam.
Hey, I've hired this girl to help me update it.
Was that 2023?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We just got a 2026 one.
He
So thank
he
you.
does have it built out well. It's just,
Hey, Alan,
not
I'm
perfect.
exposing myself here, and I brought her on because we are not perfect.
I love it. I love it.
Um,
One thing that I think is kind of cool, and if you want to chat about, like one of the things that brought Bethany in for a lot of my clients, especially with Service Titan, is she is really good at building out Service Titan forms, like dynamic forms and like inspection reports and proposals, or hey, if it's this type of, if it's a prefab, then be sure it triggers this chase cover form, or all those kind of things that we need to do. So I think it's kind of cool to talk about the difference between the forms and the things that you would have in here versus you would have in like the day-to-day stuff that's actually job related, because this isn't really meant for everyday jobs. This is more big picture kind of company level SOPs and things like that. So I don't know if you want to talk about the difference or how those correlate back and forth, Beth, but I know that's something that you do a lot with.
Yeah, so I think Service Titan, House Call Pro, whatever, most of that is customer and job based. And then you just basically think of Connecteam as everything else, anything that you need for your employees, day to day, anything that's not going to be, at somebody's house or something that they need built out for the job. So, like I mentioned, one of my clients uses like a warehouse checklist and a checklist for his sales leader, to make sure all those internal things are getting done that aren't really going to be tied to any type of job within Service Titan. And so I think that's where they complement each other. Is you just think of Connecteam as employee and internal management, and then Service Titan or whatever CRM you're using is job and customer based.
Yeah, let me share my screen again. I would like to talk about on the courses. Let me just mute this real quick. On the courses part, we use this, and I think we're going to be moving to a new onboarding feature that they have. But I want to show you one of the main courses we've used, and again, it's time for an update. But like when you come on to work with us, we have you go through all the people you're going to be dealing with and how to do, kind of welcoming. So like in this video, it's me saying,
You're not sharing right now, Mark.
oh, I'm not sorry. Thank you for telling me that. Add to stage. Okay. So in this part, this is my onboarding course. And we will show a video of like me saying, welcome to Ashbusters, that type of thing.
Hello and welcome to Ashbuster.
And then like, my production manager, and it'll say, what he does.
Welcome to Ashbuster.
And we go through that process. We tell you how to get onto Surefire video, how to get onto the Surefire program. We and then the sign up information, our attendance policy, our 401k link. This changed because Vanguard quit. It's now a different company called Assure or Ascension. And then like our employee manual. And so on this, I just we use this quite a bit when we bring on new employees. And Bethany, I don't know if you can talk about, is that change with their new, with their new onboarding course, or do we still use the one that I built out?
Yeah, so onboarding is still, like you said, a pretty new feature. And I haven't dove into it super in depth, but I was messing around with it a little bit earlier and have been working on building it out for one of my other clients. But onboarding is more just gonna, for now, I'm sure they're going to, Connecteam is really good about updating and adding features on, and they release new features every month basically. And so onboarding will probably get built out a lot more than it is right now. But right now it's basically just collecting basic information, and kind of has a checklist for your managers and then has a checklist for the employees. So it's going to tell the managers, you need to check these forms, you need to enter his start date, upload his offer letter, whatever the case may be, and tell the employee you need to upload your driver's license, do this, do this, do this, and kind of a checklist for those basic things. But where it's going to tie into courses is that you can add a task on there for go to courses and complete the onboarding course, and they'll have to go back and check off that they did that before their onboarding is marked as complete. What I think is going to happen, and from what I've seen from some of the videos that they've put out and the talk that they've been doing, is probably the courses are going to kind of get built into onboarding eventually, or not all of the courses, but where you can build out a course in onboarding. But I don't think it's there, or it's not there yet. But I think that's the direction they're going in with it.
So I will, again, building the whole thing about Connecteam is awesome. Is it's very easy to build these things out and go over here to add new, look at their templates. Let me just mute this again. And then again, they've got a lot of this stuff already. I'm sorry, it's still echoing. Ready to go for you. Some of this is built for, like restaurant use, but again, PPE, working at height, first aid, fire safety, OSHA. Some of these things that we really use a lot in chimneys, working at height, first aid, that we use quite a bit, is already kind of built in. And then you can add that for your company, or you can obviously tweak it. But the less I can do, the better. As an owner, the less I have to create, and the more things that are already built for me. Obviously, I like that quite a bit. But anything else on courses, Bethany?
I just realized I was muted. Sorry. I think that's it for courses. The obviously, like I said, has the same feature as everybody else, where you can go in from the management side and see where your employees are at, see what they've completed, kind of keep track of that. Send them reminders, hey, you need to get this done, just like with most of the other features. The next one down from that is going to be knowledge base, and that is basically, I compare it to Google Drive. So this is going to be like your Google Drive of Connecteam, where you can just house information. So upload all of your handbooks, your SOPs, your you know, price sheets, distributor contacts, vendors, suppliers, anything else that you guys use internally that your employees need to be able to reference and be able to find without, searching their email or searching their text messages from where somebody sent it to them 6 months ago. You can house that here. It's really easy to build out as far as like grouping things together. So you could, like, you have vendors and suppliers there. So you could build out vendors and suppliers. And then within that, you could build out, medical vendors and chase cap or this or that, or, group those things together um, within those categories and build those out um, within those for people to find easily.
I'll show you kind of how I built out some of these things. And again, when you're building a business, one of the main things you got to do as the owner is give away the keys to the castle. And you got to make the keys to the castle available for people to find. And it can't be in your brain. What we've done is pretty much unloaded all the ways to do everything in the company onto this app. And the better you get at this, and I would say I'm 60% or maybe 40% good at this, but I've unloaded a lot of stuff and I've given access to my whole company to unload 20%. But Bethany's helped me become 100%. Thank you. But this is how you build freedom. This seems, if you're watching this, seems like a pain. It is, but you only have to do it once. Well, once 3 years ago. You got to update it, but you have to do the hard work initially. But then it's just a situation of updating. But this is how you kind of build systems that your company can scale onto. And if you've got to figure it out some other way, great. But to me, this was probably the best thing I'd seen to put it all together. I wanted to show the back, like on vendor suppliers. This took me a while to build this out, but in this case, I put where we buy almost everything, and I'm wondering why, where we buy everything and who we buy them from. And like sometimes it's like the brochures, like here's this brochure for this log set, and where we buy certain things, Hearthstones, where we get the catalogs, and we can upload all or links to the file so people can download it onto their phone. If they're at a customer's house, they can download the files or the brochures so they can talk to somebody about whatever. And so this is like the Solus thing. We don't sell a lot of this, although I like the product, but here is that. Then I can download here's their price list that can be downloaded. You can't see it very well, but the technician can download anything I want downloaded onto their phone, so they don't have to keep brochures with them or find a website. And we control some of that here. But I really like that. I've spent a lot of time in this part of vendors and suppliers. Let me just get out of this. Yeah. So do you have anything else on the knowledge base? I'm sure that I'm not doing correctly.
No, no, your knowledge base is actually one of the least of your problems, I think. So, so you're doing all right there. Like I said, it's just basically an information hub. Anything that the owner management can move off of their Google Drive or out of their brain to give their employees access to is what this is used for. Um, let's see. Help desk is just a Connecteam feature. We can skip over workflows and sales because I think you have just renamed another form category, workflows and sales. Time clock. This is where obviously it's going to be up to the way the company does things as far as, um, you know, I know obviously people can clock in and clock out or dispatch or whatever on their CRM service Titan that they're using. But the way Connecteam's time clock feature works is it can be geofence. So I think right here you're showing your geofence around the office. If people can only clock in and clock out within that geofence. And you can set that by type of employee. So that's another thing that you can use Smart Group for. So if you want all your office people to only be able to clock in within the geofence of where your office is, you can set that, and then allow your techs to be able to clock in from anywhere. Because if they're going to go straight to a job, obviously they still need to be able to clock in. It will ping you can set it up where it'll ping their location, so you can make sure when they're clocking in, they're actually clocking in at the customer's house and not their own house, still in their bed. And then you can also from there set up another step of Connecteam calls it breadcrumbs, which is just kind of every once in a while pinging their location around. Yep, there you go. So you can see where they have gone throughout the day. Make sure your texts are going from one customer's house to another customer's house and not, taking a detour off to wherever they may be wasting time. So different levels of tracking that you can set up there as far as the time clock goes. And then aside from the location part of the time clock, it is really good about the accountability piece of it. You can do within the time clock. I don't know if yours is set up. Let me see. I don't think it is, but in the time clock, you can set up where it'll link to the schedule if you're using the schedule feature, and it will show you what each person is supposed to be clocked in for that day right over here to the right, and then show you what they were actually clocked in for. So you can, and then it'll even give you the deviation. So it'll say like plus 34 minutes or minus 22 minutes and show you they were clocked in 34 minutes more than they were supposed to be, or they were clocked in less than they were supposed to be. Really easy to see if anybody is late or clocked in off site. It also, one of the easy beneficial features of it is it's really easy for them to not edit their time, but request to edit their time. So if somebody did forget to clock in when they got there and they went straight to your benefits meeting they had the other day and they forgot to clock in, yep, they can just put a request. I always encourage managers, anybody that's using it, to make sure they require the employees to put a note, so you're not just blindly approving requests to, for them to clock in early or clock out late. I always required my employees to put like why they were sending me a request, whether that was they forgot to clock in, they went straight to a meeting, they forgot to clock out until they were outside of the geofence, or whatever the case may be. And then you can go through and view those requests individually, and obviously approve or deny them, and it'll automatically update their time to that. So you're not having to, get a text message that says, oh my gosh, I forgot to clock in or I forgot to clock out. Can you fix my time? It's just all done there in the time clock, one push of a button, and it fixes their time for you.
I also have it set up to auto clock them out at a certain amount of hours. And so they can make an adjustment to it. Now, we don't, most of my office staff, we do pay hourly. My technicians are on commission, but they have to clock in and be present to start the day. I don't require them to clock out because, again, they're on a commission on an hourly base. But it does help us if we ever would get audited on hours worked or whatever, because they do get clocked in, so we do have proof of what they did work. But I have several time clocks set up for different locations, even different companies, and Connecteam also has a now like a Q. It's like, I can't think what IFRD code thing by the door where you walk by and bring your phone up to it and it clocks you in and clocks you out. I don't know if you've seen that. It's pretty slick. But
RFID.
yeah, RFID. Thank you. And so thank you for adding to this conversation, Alan. And so yeah. But anyway, again, it's a pretty neat feature. Some people use, a lot of times you have each of these things in a different area. And I think the great thing about Connecteam is they've brought it into one app. You just look at one thing and update it. And I'll go over kind of the pricing and some of that in a minute. But anything else on time clocks? Oh, hold on. I still got you muted. Let me get you out muted.
Okay. Is there anybody watching? Any questions from the audience at this point?
One feature that you are using within Forms right now that we're going to be updating that kind of integrates with time clock is the time off feature. And so I think right now, like you said, you have a vacation request form. Part of the implementation that we're doing for you is we're going to transition that to the time off feature that we haven't got to yet, but it's over under HR. And that integrates really well with time clock. So when they put in a time off request on that, within that feature, it auto populates into their time clock. So if they put in a time off request for PTO for 3 days, and then it gets approved, it's going to auto pull that into their time clock. So so when you're going through and looking at people's times or paying people out or whatever, looking at their time clocks, you don't have to remember that, oh, I need to go enter this PTO into their time clock. It auto does that for you. And then also if you do PTO on like an accrual basis, this is where you would, if somebody had like commission guys or salary guys that they wanted to accrue PTO at kind of at whatever kind of rate you wanted them to accrue at, you would want them to clock in and clock out, because the time off feature is going to pull that from the time clock as well. Like if you have them accruing point whatever hours for every hour worked, it's going to be auto calculating that as they clock in and clock out and be adding that accrual up for them.
That's cool. Yeah.
So that ties, into the time clock that way, and just makes it super easy where you're not having to, go in and add to an employee's time off bank. And it does show them, one of the really good things about time off in Connecteam is it will show them their estimated balance or their adjusted balance if they're putting in a request. Like let's say they have 34 hours of PTO available and they're trying to put in a request for 40 hours. Connecteam will show them that, hey, if you put in this request, you're going to be negative 6 hours of PTO, and it'll show that on the management side as well, so that going through when you're going through approving requests, they don't have enough PTO to cover this request, and it allows them to see that from their side as well when they're putting in those requests. Whereas right now the form, they're obviously not going to have that. Like I think you have a thing they have to sign on the form that says like, I realize if I don't have enough PTO for this, I'm going to have to, the rest of it's going to be unpaid. The time off feature will just automatically show them like, this is what you'll be paid for. This is what you have available.
That
Is it
cool.
smart enough to know that if you're requesting time off from 3 months from now, that you only have 34 right now, but you would have 40 in 3 months?
No, it is not that smart enough yet. Hopefully they'll get it there. But yeah, I have run across that with some people that I'm working with, where the employee put in, he knew 8 months in advance he had a vacation scheduled and for a week. And so it's been showing that his balance after approved requests is negative for a while now, even though it's building up. So his negative is going down or going up, however you want to say that. So that's
like
time
I know we're
clock
at
and
like
time
an
off.
hour already, but like one of the coolest things that I was hoping that you could talk about, because I know you're really into this, Mark, is like the rewards, gifts, celebrations, and just kind of how you celebrate and appreciate employees.
Yeah, let me show that real quick. And this is like I use this part quite a bit. So let me go over this. When you go down into recognitions, I recognize this is the easy way to recognize people very quickly. And let's just say I want to send a recognition to.
You've done a lot in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. Hey, I've been busy. I will send more recognitions. I'm going to recognize my sister-in-law, Susan. And so I'll click on Susan, and then I go to next step, and then I pick on, just creative. And then I recognize her. I can send it to a lot of people, and I can have them comment on it, or I can just send it to her by themselves. And then I can send this recognition and the whole company can see it, or just she can see it, which is kind of cool. Also I can make different badges, and I can make different topics that would be, different things. That here's your flowers. I made that. I think I made that for you, Bethany, when I sent those to you. But anyway, just anniversaries, all kinds of different ways to send recognitions to your company. I love that. And then to me,
That's good spot to do. Like a lot of one of my clients sends like the 5-star reviews in the chat all the time, and that's a good
Okay.
place to like congratulate people for getting their 5-star reviews.
I do, that's interesting. I do that in the chat, like all team user chat is where in this case, like I will send, like here yesterday or 2 days ago, I put all those in the chat feature. And so I like that, doing it in the recognition feature. That's what I'll do from now on. But I've dropped those in the chat quite a bit. Like you can see these, Alan, here's how I do the recognition. But I'll use the other feature now more. So then, okay, people like to be, recognized that way, but what people really like is rewards. So rewards, I love this feature about it. So you buy tokens. In this case, I have a couple $1,000s worth of tokens sitting here for my team to use. And then in this case, I can send tokens to people just by themselves, or they've got a great cards library. So I can select, or they can select. I send them the tokens, and then they can select how they want to spend it. And typically, they buy the Amazon card, the Walmart card, sometimes the Cabela's cards, but they can buy. There's a ton of cards here that they can buy from, and then use Starbucks cards, Spotify. You can see it's a lot, and they can spend it the way they want to. And we use this quite a bit. So these guys did yard signs. They got basically $120. It's 10 tokens for is $1. And so in this case, he got 100. He did a lot of yard signs. He did 12 yard signs. So we paid $10 a piece. And so he got $120 today. This guy, he did 3 Google reviews and 10 yard signs. So he got basically $160 worth of value. He hasn't claimed them yet. And he will get cards libraries, or he can let it build up in his own bank account, basically, and use those. I can purchase tokens here. Basically a 10% ish fee difference between the token and spending it. But I can tell you this, the biggest thing I like about it is that if I do it on a payroll, let's just say I want to give them cash. If I give them cash, then it looks like it's taxable income to me when I pay cash out. If I give them, if I put it in their payroll, then they get taxes taken out. I got workman's comp and everything else on it. So it really diminishes it. When I do it this way, it's basically a software charge. It's, I've bought more software and cost, and they take care of that without it coming in as revenue, as income. And so it's pretty helpful that way. Now, if it ever got to be so much, I guess you can claim it that way, but we spread this out to the team, and it's an easy way to give out gifts and different rewards. So do you have anything to add to that? Let me get you over here, get you up. Yeah. Anything on that, Bethany?
No, I actually don't have anything to add to that one. Really, you covered that one pretty well. You use it more than like any of the other companies that I've worked with on Connecteam, actually. So that's one you have going for
Can
you.
you just tell Alan how great I am at it? It'd be helpful.
Yeah, the best. I'll send you a recognition later I'll give you some flowers.
Thank you. Let's wrap it up and go over. Are you using the hiring and the onboarding hubs are brand new? Are you using those yet?
Yes. So the hiring is the last couple of things, like you said, we touched on onboarding a little bit. We didn't talk about hiring, and then documents kind of ties into both of them. But so with the hiring, what you can do is you can go in and you can basically create the position within Connecteam. So if you were hiring for a CSR, you could go in here, type in CSR, go to the application form, and really add whatever fields you want to add in here. First name, last name, phone number. Whenever I created it, I made a file upload where they had to add their resume in here. You can require a cover letter, whatever you want to require as far as file upload goes, any certifications if you're hiring for a position that you need already to have certifications and require, and you can obviously make them optional or required for them to upload. And so once you have all of that built out, if you go to the next part, you can add the steps that you want this to go through. So you've reviewed their application, you've done a screening call, in-person interview, check the reference, any other steps that you may want them to come in. If you want them to come in and do a ride along, or come in and do a shadow day with the CSRs, you can add that in. And so the way that, obviously you can't bring people into your Connect team that aren't hired yet. So the way it works is it will generate a link. So if you're posting your job on Indeed or Monster or ZipRecruiter, whatever you want to post your job on, you can take that link and say, this is where you need to do the application. And so it will bring them to this form that they'll do and basically import them into Connecteam. And then once you've done that, then you can walk them, then you can select the step that each person's at. So, and approve or deny them. So you can either move them to the next step. Let's say you review their application, they're terrible, you don't want to hire them, you can just move them to rejected. Obviously people can withdraw themselves as well. And so you step them through. So that way whatever managers you want to have assigned to this can see, these are applicants, this is where the process is. If you have any managers that you want to jump into the interview, or any managers that are supposed to be the ones interviewing them or doing the ride along with them, they obviously have easy visibility to this. Whereas, if you're doing it just on Indeed, you have to create an email for everybody and get them the Indeed link and get them logged on to Indeed and teach them how to use Indeed. And this just makes it a lot easier to do it all internally. And then if you move them to if you end up hiring them, anything that you have had them do in the hiring tab will automatically transfer over to their user tab. Oh, you're muted.
Kat said that they started adding the processing fee on top of the token payout to keep things fair. We did the same thing. For example, if we pay $10 for a Google review, we add an additional 10% in tokens to help offset the processing fee that Connecteam charges, ensuring the employee still receives the full intended reward. We did the same thing. As I was saying, it cost me about 10%. But we don't have to go through all the other hoops, and I agree with that process. So the employee still gets the full amount of what we intended it to be. Let's see. Oh, you muted yourself, Brittany. Bethany.
It's okay. I get it all the time. But yeah, so that's basically the hiring feature. It works well in conjunction with whatever hiring site that you're using, and just brings everything internal. You can just do the bare minimum on Indeed and list the position. You don't have to add all the questions and everything on Indeed, because you can just build them out in Connecteam and say, hey, go here to do the application. And also that is going to add an additional filter of, your very first impression of this person, of if they can follow instructions. Because when I did this for another company, I had 50 applications on Indeed and probably 10 within Connecteam. And so I was like, well, none of you are hired because you can't follow this very basic step of clicking this link. So it's going to give you a filter for people that can listen very quickly. And then the last part of just kind of the employee management that I think is really important is the documents, and very useful for everybody to use. I know I was, we talked about me doing your Connecteam audit very late at night, but I was also working on it very late at night the other night, and accidentally sent all of your employees an I-9 and W-4 notification at 11:30 p.m. So
yeah, it was awesome.
I did not know I was going to send a push notification to everybody, so I do apologize. But within documents, this is where you can add all of your employee forms. So if you have paper files right now, or you have employee files on your Google Drive, you can bring all that into Connecteam. They have some things pre-built out, so like the W-4, the I-9, and then I think they have a W-9 as well that's already built out. Yeah, and then you can create whatever other documents that you want to have here. So driver's license, their social security card, their whatever document that you need uploaded. Yeah, and now Mark just notified everybody that they needed to upload a W-9. So you're probably going to
I
get a
did
bunch of
do that,
messages
didn't
like,
I? Oh my God.
yes.
I just got the notification on my phone. I was like, what did I do? Oh my God.
Yeah, now everybody's going to be like, why do I need to do a W-9? Are you not
Oh,
taking taxes
Jesus.
anymore?
I
They're gonna be
got
like,
it.
Bethany.
Bethany did that. I gotta tell everybody, please disregard that notification. All team users chat.
But the beneficial part of Connecteam that is going to work a lot better for the owners and the managers than paper files or Google Drive is that Connecteam has expiration dates built in. So if you have certifications that your guys have to get, or even their driver's license if they're driving your trucks, obviously, you know, people's driver's license expire. They may not realize if you upload their driver's license into Connecteam, you can add the expiration date, and Connecteam's going to notify them as well as any managers that you have set up that, hey, their driver's license is expiring or their certification for whatever is expiring, and it's going to stay on top of that and notify you 30 days out or a week out or whatever parameters you have it set up for, so that you're not getting a bunch of expired documents or guys with expired licenses driving your trucks. That's super a very much more efficient way than if I don't know how you guys are doing it, but if you have your office manager go through an audit to see what's expiring this month, or
No.
I wasn't going to call you out, Mark, but if you
Well, I mean, it's so hard to keep up with. You see all the employees. Now I got to keep up with all their driver's licenses and all these things. It's like impossible. So it's not impossible. This technology absolutely helps you stay on top of a lot of things. There's a million tasks. These are the things that keep you up at night. You know, your insurance is expired, your driver's license expired. All these things happen. And so I really like that this process, once used correctly, is very, very helpful.
Yep, and you can set up different packs as well. So if you have like a everybody pack, you need everybody's license, social, W-4, whatever, and then you can set up one that's specific to techs if you just want all their certifications, so that your CSRs aren't getting notifications that they need to upload their whatever certificate, or their certificate hasn't been uploaded yet. So you can customize those to your different groups as well.
Can you hit that add button again real quick, Mark?
I just had to send a notice to everybody. Please disregard the W-9 notice. Bethany's problem. Alan confused me. But yeah, so let me talk about just the cost of it again. And Bethany, you have a referral link for this in case people want. I don't know if you want to put that in the chat. But put your link in the chat if people want to do this. And also I put your information in earlier so people can contact you about that. So let me show the cost of this. Let's make sure I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so in this case, you basically can start off like everything free, like the limited version of the different operations, communications, and HR skills basically are free. And then as you use more of it, you up your monthly fee. So again, as far as software goes, this isn't very expensive, as you can, and it includes for the first 30 users. So as you go up, basic 35 on these different levels is for 30 users, and most companies don't have to go above that. For me, when we go above it, it's $5 a month for the operations, which is a time clock and some of these things. But it's only like $1.80 a month per additional user for the different communications hubs piece, and then the HR part is $1.80 as well if you go above 35. So you can see I'm not expert level on all of them. And so basically with all of my employees and everything, it costs me about $550 a month for this level of organization. And so I think it's a very, fairly priced thing. Obviously this is monthly. You can click over to yearly and you can see some of the different pricing for that. But yeah, do you have anything to add for pricing of that? Oh, she's not. I didn't know
she got kicked out. Yeah.
I was looking at the screen. You have anything to add to that, Bethany?
Well, I was kicked out, so I don't 100% know everything you went over.
It's just basically the pricing and like the how it increases the more features that you use.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, there's different. If you have a company that only wants to use, it's very customizable. So if you only want you don't need the operations hub because you have everybody clocking in, clocking out, and schedule and service titan. You don't have to get that hub. Or if you only want it for HR management because you don't have that built out anywhere else, you can do that. Um, and then, like you said, the higher up you go in tier, the more features you get within each of those things. But they are very good about bundling things and giving you a discount for like the more hubs you have and then the more features you have within those hubs.
Yeah, and I think one of the things is if anybody's like just curious if this is a fit. Obviously, Mark, you're running what 100 employee company now. I mean, this is obviously a no brainer for your size. But when Bethany was running a 300 employee company, that's a no brainer. But even companies that are like 5, 10, 15 employees, when you look at the way the price schedule goes, I mean, it's peanuts, right? To keep everything organized, should you ever get audited, insurance, all those kind of things. And
Yeah.
I don't want to put words into Bethany's mouth, but I know that she does do like initial consultations for people. So if you're like, I don't know if this is right for my company or not, I mean, you can always just set up a call and she'll deep dive into what you're doing, what you're not doing, and put together a plan for you. And if you need her help to even help implement it and do it, she'll do that for you as well. So but yeah, I think it's a pretty damn cool software as you grow your company and just to keep everything organized. Because even at Surefire, we kind of joke, Jim Brewer and all these guys. At one point we had like information in like 7 different places, right? We had like Google Drive, we were using Zello or like whatever the Trello, and then we had emails, and then we just had so much stuff, and to be able to centralize information and communicate clearly to those that need to be communicated is such a big part of business. So I think that's what Connecteam does really well.
I was just putting the link in here for Bethany for if you want to try the program. Here's her link that's going to come up. And so, yeah, I think hopefully it looks like we had some nice comments. It looks very legit.
I don't know.
Show comments. Yeah, go ahead.
I cannot hear Mark. Can you hear Mark Allen?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I can hear you, but I can hear Mark.
That's weird. I can hear you, Bethany. You can't hear me.
I don't know what's going on. I'm getting kicked out now. I'm getting blocked out of hearing things.
I think you need a better browser.
Yeah,
so yeah, he can hear you. It's all good. We got your partners link on there for should anybody want to anyone to refer into Connecteam. I think if you want to set a meeting with Bethany, Bethany at rushprofits.com. And I did see a comment in there from Levi. Like even the cheap time clocks are $700 a year, and they only do the one thing. So it's true. If you think about all the things that you pay for in your business, this is a cheap way to organize things. And definitely props to Chad Murray for bringing this to the industry. And
Brittany and Chad Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. Go stogiedip.com or trademark or whatever. But yeah, no, I think that's. Can you hear Mark at all now, Bethany, or you still locked out with him? No. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just blocked out from listening to Mark.
Well,
but yeah, like you said, if anybody's using Connecteam and they just want an audit of it, that's kind of what I did for Mark, and saw what he was using, what he was underutilizing, things that he was using well, and then from the audit, we went to implementation. So I'm working on building out those things now. So if anybody's using Connecteam already and just wants a second pair of eyes on it, I can go through an audit and, like I said, see what you're using and see what you could be using better, more efficiently. And then happy to talk to anybody that is interested in Connecteam, not utilizing it at all yet, or has any questions about it.
Yeah, and I want to just give one last pitch for my daughter, that I love so much and want to do so well.
So you can stop paying for all my stuff.
Yes. Could you get a job? Jesus. No, but she works with I think 5, maybe 6 of my chimney clients right now, and she's built out forms in Service Titan. She's done complete SOPs, complete employee manual reviews. Like I said, she runs L10 meetings. She any kind of form that you can imagine. Like if you're on Rilla, our AI ride along software, the reports you get every month, she puts all those together. So like her skill set for admin, HR, she does payroll for one of my companies, literally goes in, does all their payroll. She does email management for admins that are just too busy, just goes in and cleans up their mailboxes, make sure they see the important stuff without wasting time on spam and things like that. So she's got a huge experience of managing 300 people, and so she can definitely help you in areas that you just need to save time, because we talk about this all the time. If you're dealing with as an owner or a manager, if you're dealing with 20 an hour, 50 an hour, 100 an hour problems, oh my God, you're just wasting time and money. You need to be focused on the $1,000, $2,000 problems, and that's where she comes in and just gets rid of the stupid time. Right? If somebody tells me they don't have enough time, I say call Bethany. She'll make time for you. So.
Nice. Well, Bethany, I know you can't hear me. Thank you guys for joining us, and I'll take you guys back. But thanks again for being here.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that time. I know it was a pretty lengthy, but in a very in-depth view of how Connecteam works. Again, it's just a thing that works for us. And if you have interest in it, look into it. And it's super powerful, as you can see. But with that, I'm going to be back next week. I don't quite have the topic picked out yet, but we will be probably talking more about growth and those things that will help you grow your company. Lastly, we still do have a few seats left for our Built to Sell program. Let me see if I can find this banner. If you go to this website, surefireb2s.com, it's going to start in 2 weeks at my shop, and we've got several companies signed up for it, so it's going to be exciting. We're going to have a 2-day. We're going to do a walkthrough of my company, kind of a shop tour. We've got Anthony Valerio coming to join us. We've got the private equity guys that are going to come give you basically an evaluation of your company. We'll go through all that, how that works, but they can help you with understanding the value of the company you've built. And then secondly, we're going through a 10-month program to help you move that needle. If that's interesting to you, we're also going to have other people that did not sell to private equity. They sold in different ways, or they got out of their business in different ways. And so we want to make sure that you see all the ways that there are available for you to build your company to exit at some point. So, because like we always say, you are going to get out of your business one day. And so why not plan for that and do all the things necessary so the exit is the exit that you want. So with that, I want to thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.